And welcome back, everyone. We are going today to talk about frame rate. So to get started, you can see I have a visual example here of how to demonstrate between the different frame rates. We have three examples on our screen right here. We have 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and 15 frames per second. Now, it might seem a little bit similar, but if you notice the 15 frames per second, you can see there's some visible stuttering, for example, between these. The 30 frames per second appears a lot smoother, and the 60 frames per second is the smoothest still. So how do we manipulate these values in Photoshop? So if you recall previously, I had talked about the different frame delay options down here. So we have right down here 0 seconds set to each of these. And if I play our animation just from what we had before, you of course can see here is our animation set up as is. I'm just going to go ahead and add a few delays in here. So I'm just going to add a half-second delay here at 4 and 6. And let's go ahead and play the animation again. And you will see that now when it hits 4 and 6, it has a half-second stop in those animations. So it's effectively like a pause before it moves on to the next frame. Now I'm going to go ahead and just reset those back to no delay, just so we have our nice smooth animation again. And what I want us to do is show you how you can actually control the frames per second. Now, of course, the frame delay allows us to kind of effectively make a built-in sort of delay with the different frames. However, it's not a true FPS setter. In order for us to actually control frame rate, if we want to do that, we actually need to convert this frame animation into a video timeline. So I'm going to go here to the three bars that you see right here. Click on Convert to Video Timeline. And you will see that our timeline is now different here. This is a video timeline, and each one of our layers has now effectively become a video clip. And what we're going to do is we hit play, it's going to play the animation once. Additionally, when we look at our animation down here at the very bottom, if you look very carefully, you might be able to see where it says 30 FPS. That is our frames per second here in this animation. So if I want to change this animation, I can go back to those little panel bars there, and I can set timeline frame rate. And when I do that, you'll see that here's our 30 FPS that we had before. There's also some drop down options where you can choose to set things, or we can go here and type these in. So for example, if I want a 60 FPS animation and I click OK, you'll see that the animation adjusts accordingly. And if we look, it now says 60 FPS, and when I play that animation, it does play it, and you notice it does make it a little bit smoother than when we were at the 30 frames per second. Now, if I want to at any point change those, of course I have those options to be able to do that just by setting time frame rate. So if I want to change this back down to 30, for example, I can do that, and you notice that it will automatically adjust. And when I play it, it is back at the 30 FPS. Now, I can't necessarily go back into the timeline frame, so I'm just going to use Control Z here just to back things up to get back to our timeline here with our frame animations. Now again, this is not the same as the video animations, and we are going to start, when we start making our animations, start here in the frame animation, because this is a good starting point for us when we're working with our pixel art in order to take it and make it actually have the animated quality that we want it to have.